Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav, and my pronouns are they, them.
And my name's Harmit, and my pronouns are Hershey, like the chocolate.
And this is A Feast for Crows, chapters 21 and 22, The Queenmaker and Arya. In these chapters,
Ariane and Arya try to channel their inner Queen Nymeria.
welcome back to the podcast, everyone. We've been away for a while, but it definitely did me some good. I don't think I could have survived this month without having a little bit more time on my hands. But how are you doing, Harmit?
I'm good. I missed the podcast a lot. So much so that one of my friends was like, "Oh, I'm starting a book club." And I was like, "I'm joining. Like, I need to talk about books."
So, what did you think of these
Who
chapters?
died?
What was it like
Who
coming back to the
died?
book? Oh, okay, let's do who died later.
Okay.
Tell me this first, because it's more relevant because we've
Okay.
taken a break,
All right,
you know?
all right. How did it... Wait, sorry, what did you ask?
So, what did you think of these chapters, but also what was it like coming back to the book after a while?
What was it like? I was so nice because I was like craving reading this book. I was like, oh my god, I need to finish this book, But then, and then as I was reading, I was like enjoying my time, because it had been a while. So it wasn't like I was like, oh my god, I have to read this. It was just a nice little break from back to school season. Specifically, these chapters, they were good. I liked them. It was a little sad. Ariane's chapter was a little a little too good to be true, and then it wasn't true. And yeah, it was just kind of sad, and I was like, oh my god, it's her, because I was fully convinced that it was Eris.
Right.
But it was her.
Eric?
Eris.
Is his name? There's a different Kingsguard at another point in history named Eric, and I was like, they're on House of the Dragon, so that's like fresh on my brain.
Okay, I see. I was like, why are you Ericing up here?
Yeah, this one's Eris, whatever. But you can see why I was like not super invested in him, because I was like, he gonna die soon.
That was great. Honestly, the entire time I was reading that chapter, I kept thinking about how in Discord, after that first Eris chapter, one of the question of the weeks, I asked, if people shipped them together. And I can't believe people were actually indulging in my thoughts, because some people were like, oh yeah, it would be really nice if they were together. They acted as though
he
that
doesn't die the
question
next day.
Exactly. They really, and I was so proud of them for going along with it, because sometimes I feel like people say things that that I'm like, if I read into this, I feel like it would be a spoiler.
Yeah, no, but our Discord people are really good. And, they're also good at, catching each other's spoilers. And people will, point it out. By the time you come around, shit's been taken care of,
That's good to know.
What happens in those instances is you'll ask the question and they'll be, all indulgent in the answer to you, but then come over to the spoiler chat and be like, this is what I really think,
That's what I thought about Ariane's chapter. I was shocked that it was her, and I was also kind of like, whoa. I felt like I got played, because you also went along with it. You were like, oh yeah, of course, who else would it be?
Well, what was I gonna say?
I know. So I guess you can't assume anything around here. That one I thought was cut and dry, it must be him, but... And then
he is cut and dry?
Ah! Damn. Don't do him like that.
You said it. Said it.
Oh my god.
Arya?
Oh yes, thank you. And then Arya... I got distracted. But then Arya's chapter was... Honestly, I enjoyed it more than I enjoy the adventure of other Arya chapters more, but I think this was one of my favorite Arya chapters in terms of, like, mindset and where she was at.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed that.
Some deep stuff in it.
Yeah, she's becoming a teenager.
She's still like 10, so I don't know if that's a teenager. She's like a tween.
Okay, you know how she says her age in this chapter?
She says 10.
For some reason, I remembered it being 12. That's why I said that.
I think, like, Sansa is 12 or maybe just turned 13. Like, one of those two.
Got it.
Arya's like 10 or 11.
Cool. Anyway, yeah, I liked the chapters, and it was nice to get back to the grind.
Cool.
I've never said that.
And who died in these chapters?
Oh, God. Okay, Eris Oakhart.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else die in that chapter? Because the other people weren't foolish enough to try and die, right? I think some people must have died, like, as they were being captured, and like, but some people escaped.
Yeah, there was something going on with Marcella.
Marcella didn't die.
Well, I don't know if she died, but she was definitely bleeding or something.
Oh, okay. I don't remember.
No, you don't remember this?
Okay, I read these chapters like 4 days ago, and I have not reviewed them since, so I don't remember her bleeding. No.
Okay.
I don't even know if I noted her bleeding, to be completely honest.
So she could totally be dead, and you would have no idea.
Oh, no. I don't know. I probably have it marked in my notes, I just don't remember that.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, but Eris died. Other people must have died, but I don't think they were named.
There was something with Darkstar. I'm assuming you don't remember that either.
He didn't die. He escaped or like
he was like running away and they were going after him.
Yeah.
I think
he was one of the ones where I was almost certain he didn't die, because I was like, he did. Of all people, he definitely got away. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, see, this is another one of the ones where I didn't know what you were prompting from me.
And Arya's chapter?
Arya's chapter. I mean, all the people that are coming there and dying, but I don't think anyone else specifically died. I mean, the old Arya is dead. She's begun her training to become a new person, so maybe old Arya.
Not a new person, a no one.
Right, yes. So Arya Stark is dead, basically. But
except she's not, and that's like the
whole...
Yeah,
I know, but that's why I'm like, air quotes, she's becoming a new person, Arya Stark is dead.
It's like,
What?
Well, I shouldn't, because it's fairly new, but I was gonna spoil something from Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Do it. It's fine. It's literally come out a year.
Spoilers. Skip ahead a minute. But when he's like, oh, I killed 3 people, and she's like, who's 3 people? And he's like, one of them's me, or the old me. And it's like,
and I was like, could have just said you felt responsible for something. Like, you could have literally been like, oh, I felt responsible for my friend dying because I wasn't able to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like, just literally anything would have been better than the old me. And it literally, when he says that, every time my brain goes to Look What You Made Me Do from Taylor Swift, it's a song, and in it, it's like, she has a very okay, Swifties, don't come after me. But there's a very but there's a very cringy break in the song where it, you know, like sometimes they stop the music part and they have like a spoken part, and it's supposed to be really dramatic the way she does it, and she's like, the old Taylor, like someone calls her, ring ring, and then she's like, the old Taylor can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead. And then the song starts again. And like, I respect it, but I also think it's very cringy. Like, I can't make my mind up about it, sort of. And I always think of that. And when Coriolanus said that, I literally had that song playing in my head. So, yeah. Many pop culture references of, I killed the old me.
Cool. All right, let's do the summary, right? Like we did the thing, and now we can do the thing.
Okay, I can guarantee you this isn't going to be good, so don't come at me,
whatever.
people.
Just do it. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, Ariane has a plan. Take in Eris, all of her people, Darkstar, new character, Marcella. We're gonna like secretly crown Marcella or like do something, but then the sand location we were trying to go to by the time we get there. Hota, thank you. Hota is there, and her plan falls apart, and she goes into freeze of the fight or flight response, and she's like, no, this can't be happening. Like, she had this perfectly concocted plan, and it's falling apart, but someone told. Arya is still at the house. She's serving as a servant, like, she's just kind of doing her things, and they're like, you gotta make up your mind, like, what you're doing, and, like, you can't be here if you're still gonna be Arya, because every time, like, you have all these things that you're, like, hiding, and it's just, we don't jive with you if you can't give yourself up for the Lord. And then at the end, she's like, okay, I'm gonna give myself up for the Lord, but not really. And then he's like, well, if you're gonna give yourself up for the Lord, you may as well learn our language.
Okay, that's a
and
minute.
then she leaves, and she hides her sword, and she remembers Sansa.
What? That's cheating.
No, it's not, because it proves that the problem was time, not my knowledge.
Sure, we'll say that.
Okay. The details are fuzzy, but I remembered the gist.
Okay, so the Queenmaker.
Mm-hmm.
We open up, and they're running through the desert, or they've just gotten to this, like, old abandoned, like, sand town, Shandystone, it's called. It's kind of like the rendezvous point. So she's got, oh my god, I'm gonna forget like half these people, but there's like somebody named Dre and Silva and Garen and then Darkstar. I think Darkstar, his name's like Gerald or something, but Darkstar, like, you know? Yeah. I think his name's like Geraldine, but he's Darkstar, and I don't remember the other people, but they're sitting there waiting, and she's remembering the last time she was here was when the Red Viper brought her and Tyene and Sorella, and they caught vipers, and Tyene learned how to milk them for their venom.
Damn, so, is it just because they were all they were the ones that were the most similar in age? Because I'm like, he's got his favorites.
Yeah, maybe they were the ones who were available.
Yeah.
Like, I feel the way they say, like, oh, this felt like he came here often to, like, get the venom from these vipers.
Yeah.
So, like, he was making his, like, monthly trip or whatever,
and he was like, hey, kids, you're free.
Like, who wants to go for a ride?
I don't know.
Or maybe these are his favorites. I get the sense that of, like, the sand snakes, like, Tyene is, like, the poison person, you know?
Yeah.
So it would make sense that she would be a specific prodigy of his, because he's the poison person, too.
Yeah, and then Sorella's, like, the maester knowledge person, and he also studied there. That's why I was thinking they were his faves, because I was thinking of that too, where I was like, okay, Tyene, he has the poison connection. Sorella, he has, like, the knowledge and, like, studiousness. Yeah, and then...
That we suppose.
Yeah, that's true. But, like, you know, and then with, And that's why I was like, okay, well, what does he have with Ariane? But, like, Ariane is very fond of him, so maybe he's...
Well, very fond is one way to put it, but she straight up has fantasies about him.
Yeah.
And sex fantasies, I should specify.
Yeah. Girly has an interesting relationship with sex, let's just put it... And her uncle, let's put it that way.
Yeah, like, in other cases, it's, you know, whatever. This is where it's like, ooh, okay,
it's her uncle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's, like, her fantasies extend that far. There's something going on there. Like, is this just daddy issues, but in, like, a different form? Like, I don't know yet.
I guess, yeah, because, like, he has all the qualities that her dad doesn't.
Yeah, that she wants.
So.
And I feel like she's probably also, like, if he was the one in charge, she wouldn't have cared about my brother being, like, you know, and it's just like, she's just like, oh, my uncle is this perfect
baggage
person.
wrapped up in there.
Yeah, and she's like, well, perfect ruler, perfect uncle, guess I want to fuck him now, like,
yeah.
Basically is the train of thought.
The obvious conclusion is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god.
Yeah. But... but nothing shocks me anymore after seeing House of the Dragon, so...
Stop. You're like, this is normal.
Yeah, like, literally, the Targaryens...
Stop. You're like, they bred with Targaryens. This is why the Targaryens like them so much.
Oh, the Martells?
Yes.
Yeah, but Anyway,
That's
so
funny, yeah.
moving on.
Yeah, but right at the beginning, there was this cool, like, they were, like, it makes sense, but I just hadn't thought about it before. Like, she was kind of, because she was describing, like, Shandystone, and she was thinking about, like, how, like, everyone who's wealthy in Dorne has, like, is going to have as much water access as they do gold access. And it was just...
water is the ultimate commodity.
Yeah. And I just was like, that's so true, because they're literally in a fucking desert. And it's kind of like, because with the Lannisters were like, well, why are they such a powerful house? And it's because, like, they have so much money and so much wealth in that way. But then it's like, sure, like, okay, wait, Dorne isn't as wealthy as the Lannisters, right? Am I wrong in thinking that?
No, I think the Lannisters are the wealthiest. Yeah. And then, like, the Reach is pretty wealthy because it's, like, most of the farming land, you know?
Yeah.
So they got, like, agricultural wealth. Dorne has their own... I remember, like, books ago, like 2 books ago, we went on this whole thing about, like, the economy of Dorne.
Yeah.
Which I can't, like, remember all the details.
Yeah.
But... definitely, like, they do trading and stuff, and they've got their specific things that they grow and breed there.
Yeah.
But yes, not as rich.
Damn.
But there's still one, like, the Martells specifically are one of the great houses. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they have, like, the title prince, which no other place does, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So they don't really have to be like, oh, we're less wealthy than the Lannisters, because they're fucking Martells.
Yeah, it just comes down to, like, access to resources, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I feel like they're all plenty rich.
Yeah. You know? No, definitely. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it was just interesting to think about it from that perspective, too, because, like, which regions have wealth in which ways, like, you know? It was cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So... oh, apparently...
also, the ruins sound really pretty. Like, the sand ruins. I kind of want to go there, but, like, only for a day. Because I don't want to, like, you know, die of thirst.
Yeah, but to go someplace like that for only a day is, like, you're going through so much trouble.
I know, but it would be so pretty, and then I could take photos.
Right. You can go there next time. So today... so apparently Garen had also gone with them on this, like, little rendezvous to Shandytown or Shandystone, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But he's Aryan's milk brother. Her mother is, like, Aryan's nurse. Mm-hmm. So they are, like, really close, inseparable since before they learned to walk. So that's really cool. Like, having, you know, a friend that you've known your entire life.
Mm-hmm. Us core.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, even we're not as much as these people, because we didn't meet for a while, but...
yeah, and then there's Darkstar. Immediately, he's kind of, like, super annoying. She says that there's no handsomer man in Dorne, but he has a cruel mouth and a crueler tongue. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of a dick, honestly.
Oh my god, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But he's got, like, the Dane, like, purple eyes and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're seeing another Dane. I think the only other Dane we have met was Ned Dane. Dundarian, Beric Dundarian Squire was Ned Dane.
Oh, okay. Nice.
He's like this little kid, and when Arya catches up with them, she's like, oh, my dad's name is Ned. And he's like, yeah, I was named after him, basically.
Oh, yeah. That was the other Ned that we saw.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
So all of these, they're just, like, sitting around. And what is it? They're talking about their plan. They're going to go to the Green Blood, but also the things that have been going on in the world, like, you know, revolts in Astapor, dragons in Karth, Grey Plague in Yt, and so on and so forth. And of course, they too bring up the Golden Company having broken its contract with Myr. Mm-hmm. And I think we heard about it in this world initially, like in Dorne initially, but like it's come back around. Like everybody's talking about this basically. Yeah. And Arya obviously has that concerned that Quentin is gathering the Golden Company to come take over her right and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So, mention of that. They don't like Darkstar, but they need him because he's got like a castle and shit, whatever, you know? And then, she starts reflecting about Quentin. So he's her younger brother, right? Yeah, that makes sense because she's the older. That's why she's the heir to Dorne. So he had been sent to Ironwood when he was very young. And their mother, who is Norvoshi, was not happy with this whole warding your kids away situation, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, but this is like the Westerosi way. So her dad was like, yeah, there's a blood debt to the Ironwoods, and this is the only coin they will accept. And their mom was not happy about her son being treated like coin, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I, forget. I should know this.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're, separated or divorced. She's not dead, I don't think. Right?
I don't remember. I'm going to look at the appendix.
I don't know if she's in there.
Really? She wouldn't be?
Well, I don't know for a fact because she's not directly in the line of
But usually they have their wives,
okay,
right?
Well, you can look and I will look.
Okay. Because what's the point if they're just not even gonna have their wife, bro? It says his wife, Malario, of the free city of Norvos, and then it doesn't say anything else. It doesn't say she's dead.
Yeah, because, literally, we hear about her, and I think, what's his name? Hota came with her when they got married.
Right.
So he's still around, and we hear about them having, marriage troubles, but never about her dying. So I don't really know where she is, actually.
Yeah, because Arya never talks about her, and, we've had a few chapters specifically in Dorne now, and she's never come up.
Yeah.
Hota's never wow, he hasn't seen his wife in 6 months, anything like that. He's just he wasn't doing his duties because he was here, or whatever.
Yeah. So anyway, interesting interlude.
Yeah.
But,
Garna!
this is when she's like...
Huh? What? Okay.
Okay. So this is when she's like, yeah, my dad's pretending that he's still with the Ironwoods, but I know because my people saw him, and one of the Ironwood sons, as well as a maester who is skilled in several tongues, getting on a ship in Planky Town.
Mm-hmm.
And they were looking for passage across the narrow sea.
Oh my god.
And they had scrolls with them that had the seal of Dorne. So, this is not, his personal seal. This is, official documents that presumably only her dad could have authorized that he's got with him.
Yeah.
And, so this seems like this is business sanctioned by her dad. Yeah. And he's going across the sea, and there's all this stuff going with the Golden Company. So, her conclusions are not unreasonable.
Yeah.
I just kind of wish she was more direct about it. Just be like, hey, Dad, what the fuck,
Yeah. Because it's not it's gonna help you to be well, I guess maybe she thinks, by not alerting him that she, he won't know that she's going against him, but now he already knows. So I feel at this point, at the end of the chapter, after everything that happens, I feel I would just talk to him, but I understand why she hasn't yet. Because she's she has the element of surprise, Right. Because they don't know,
I guess.
They don't know that she knows,
I'm just the confrontational type, so,
yeah,
if I got a problem, I'm gonna bring it to you,
Yeah. Yeah, but in this case, I think I'm pretty confrontational too, but I feel here, the politics of it would overtake that for me. Because I'd be like, I don't know if that's going to work for me.
I guess, but I'm like, he's your dad, like...
Right, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the politics shouldn't overtake them, but he's also literally trying to take her throne away, so...
Yeah. Anyway, so Darkstar had gone to, like, go pee somewhere, or... I don't know. He comes back, and he's like, oh, here, take my sword and kill Marcella.
Bro, yeah.
And that's how you start a war.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, put that shit away. This is not what's happening.
Yeah.
And by this time, Eris Oakheart has arrived with Marcella. And, like, there's more details about this, but basically she has this, like, distant cousin, a Lannister of Lannisport, not of Casterly Rock, that has been with her. And specifically, Tyrion sent that girl because she has enough of a resemblance with Marcella that she can pass for her. And like Marcella dyed her hair on the voyage to Dorne, so in case they were caught, they would think the other girl was Marcella, blah, blah, blah. So now they have used this girl, put her in Marcella's clothing, curled her hair, and are pretending that she's got like chicken pox or something so that nobody goes near her. And have snuck Marcella out, and now they're gonna take her. It's not like wait, she does say like later exactly where she plans on going, but I think it's to the house of what is Oberyn's paramour's name? Ilaria Sand, her dad's house, because Arianne feels that he would also support her plan. So like eventually they're gonna get there and like rally troops and like declare Marcella the queen and so on and so forth. Yeah. So that's the plan. So we don't have to like keep coming back to it, okay?
Yeah.
And the whole thing doesn't work anyway, so it's not really important in the end as it is.
That's so sad. But I just wanted to point out so obviously Marcella gets there and everyone's like, oh, my liege, you know? And then she's like, why the fuck are you calling me? I loved Marcella during this whole chapter. She's like, why are you, just something happened to Tommen? And I'm like, oh, you're so cute. And then like, you could tell that she's like, either already figured things out or is figuring it out. And you're just like, this girl is so smart.
She hasn't been told anything at all, but she is putting things together quite quickly.
And she knows, like, she understands, like, the implications of things. And, like, she has this cute moment where, like, they're introducing Sir Andrew Dalt to her, and he's like, my friends call me Dre, and she's like, until I know you, I shall call you Sir. I was like, that was adorable. Like, imagine this, like, child who you're trying to make the queen, and, like, she's like, you know, like, she's being all, like, diplomatic about it. Like, it was just really cute. I was like, go off. But it's, like, smart, too. Like, it was just nice. I was like, go off.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think she's also, like, Arya's age, so, like, the way the two of them are dealing with their situations, it's interesting to see.
That's true, yeah. And then also, it's funny, because when they were, like, you know when they were, like, all the people were talking to Arianne, and all of her people were talking to her, and they were like, we don't like this Darkstar guy, like, get rid of him. And then she's like, but we need him. One of them was like, okay, but, like, I'm a knight, like, I have a wonderful horse and a very fine sword, and my valor is second to, well, several, actually. I was like, this is so true. I was like, this is, like, these people are so fun, and I hope they don't all die.
Well, they're not off to a good start with that.
Sad.
But we shall see. The other thing to remember is it's probably one of them who told.
That's true, but I didn't want to think about it that way.
But Garen, I think, is the one who says that, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm one of the orphans of the green blood, and the whole deal with that is that they are the people who came with Nymeria that actually weren't happy with being in Dorne, so they still long for the Mother Royne, and they're like, we're orphans because we're separated from her, so they just live out on the river, the green blood, and are kind of like nomadic, I think.
Yeah.
It's a cool history. But, Gerald Dane, Knight of Starfall, but he's not the Sword of the Morning. And he's like, no, men call me Darkstar, and I'm of the Night. Blah. Okay, whatever, dude.
Oh my god.
And they're talking about, and then, obviously everyone knows Sir Arthur Dane, and they're talking about him and how great he was. And then he's like, why is that only my cousin's the one that's remembered?
It's like, dude, you haven't done anything yet worth remembering. Like...
And when they're like, yeah, he was a great knight, we're gonna remember him. He's like, he had a great sword. Like, completely dismissing any of his actual attributes. Like, literally. Hate this guy so much.
Mm-hmm.
All of that, and then Eris is like, okay, we gotta go, like, have a little chat. Let's go talk one-on-one. And she's like, okay, sure. And then as they're, like, walking off to the side, she's like, this fool, he's wearing his Kingsguard cloak. Like, could you have a brighter signal for trouble? Like,
yeah.
Just... But he's, like, trying to cling on to this, even though his whole, like, motivation for kind of doing this is that he can eventually, like, marry, quote-unquote.
Yeah.
Marry her, but then how is he going to be king? Like,
Yeah.
Dude makes no sense.
He's just, like, he doesn't get that he can't have it all. Like, he's just, like, I feel like if I had to describe his character in one word, it would be delusional. Like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So... he's got some news. Like, he obviously catches up on how everything went, but also they're just now learning that Tywin Lannister is dead.
So that has not informed their plans.
That happened like end of last book. We're like in the middle of this book.
Yeah.
News do be traveling slow. But Ariane's like, oh, amazing. He was the one like keeping everything together. Now that he's gone, it's a much weaker Lannister family that we're facing. But also the fact that Cersei's the Queen Regent now, that might get people used to having a queen rule. And I'm like, based on how Cersei's been doing, people might not be happy about that.
Exactly. It might further push us away.
Yeah.
Like...
Exactly. But
she doesn't know that, though. She doesn't know how incapable Cersei is.
Blah, blah, blah. This is like explaining the whole thing with the girl that's her double. I don't even remember her name. It starts with R somewhere. I don't know. We'll come across it.
Also, okay, I was gonna say, they point out that, like, that handmaiden, like, the reason they say that Tyrion chose her for this purpose over other girls. So, like, was that just Tyrion being smart and being like, if you have to, like...
Yeah. And like I said, on the journey to Dorne, she was also disguised. So, like,
oh, yeah, because we had to sneak her away from Cersei. I forgot about all that.
Well, no, not from Cersei. From Stannis. Like, they're going on a ship from King's Landing, and Stannis lives, like, right in the middle of all that.
But didn't we also... Oh, Tommen was the one we tried to get away without Cersei knowing.
Yeah.
Cersei did know about this one. She was just mad as hell.
Kidnappings happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one she was just mad as hell because she was like, it's like me when you threw me to King's Landing.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Basically. They get through the talking, but then this dude's like, oh, let's have sex right here, right now.
Yeah.
And she's like, let's not. We gotta get going.
Yeah.
So they do. And it's a tough ride, but it gives her a lot of time to think. And she's like, okay, once all this is over, my dad's gonna be sorry that he overlooked me and all of that stuff, but also I don't really want to, like, harm him, So I'm just gonna let him retire. That's all. He can live out his life in the water gardens, surrounded by laughing children and the smell of limes and oranges. Yeah, but he's got to go because I'm the rightful ruler and I'm gonna have my place. And I also feel like all these other places are gonna declare for me, and even if some don't, I'm gonna have Darkstar destroy them root and branch, which I'm like, why? Like, what's so special about this Darkstar?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't get any information regarding that.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, yeah, he's a knight. Sure, he comes from, like, a house that's known and whatever, but, like, what's so special about him?
Maybe.
Or is she just like, he's so hot.
Exactly.
I want him to,
I was just gonna say, her opinions about him are a little, like, not necessarily, like, this is what I'm saying. Her and Eris would work so well together. They're delusional in different ways. Like, she's just, like, a smarter delusional version of him. Like,
Sure. Okay.
They're still both, like,
that's like the only explanation that makes sense, because she's like, oh, I should marry him, but also he sucks, but he's so hot, like.
But also we know that her relationship, not with men, but like with men that she's attracted to, or like her idea of romance and like how she thinks of that is a little warped because she likes her uncle. So
right,
I don't like, you know what I mean? Maybe that's just how she is with men, and that's why her emotions towards Darkstar are so weird too. Where she's like, oh yeah, he does suck, but I actually really like him.
Yeah.
But like also, like, yeah.
Yeah. So they're just basically on their way, talking about the orphans of the green blood, just, you know, filling Marcella in. Oh, Rosamond. That's the name of the girl who has taken her place temporarily. Mm-hmm. Oh god. So cringy. Eris tries flirting.
Oh my god.
Oh, I know why my princess wears a veil. Elsewise, her beauty would outshine the sun above. And she's like, dude, I do it for very practical reasons. And then she thinks to herself, she wondered how long her white knight had been polishing his ponderous gallantry.
Stop.
Oh, I feel so embarrassed for him.
Stop. I can't. That was so funny.
And she goes on, Sir Eris was pleasant company abed, but wit and he were strangers.
So that was a really good line. Oh my god.
Honestly, just delightful. Anyway,
oh my god.
I love her.
Oh my god.
It's, yeah. So, going on their way, like, I'm trying to find any moments that require us to talk about, but basically it's just, you know, talking about how the desert can eat you up if you're not careful, and we've been riding for a very long. Mm-hmm. But finally they come across like a tree that's called a sand beggar, but that means that they're nearing water and all that. Yeah. Just, you know, she's thinking about her plans regarding this, how it's all gonna go. Finally, they come on the boat, the raft boat on the river that they're supposed to get on. But there's like literally nobody there. The whole crew's supposed to be there ready to go.
Yeah.
And they're all like looking around, and Garen like starts shouting for them to come out and like get shit going, until the door on the pole boat slammed open. Out into the sun stepped Arya Hota, long axe in hand.
Man.
What was your reaction to this moment?
I was like, damn it. Like, come on, Hota. Why you gotta be so good at your job? But it also, like, it made sense. And, like, him and Eris were both like, I'm gonna have to fight this bitch. And, like, Ariane was getting too far into her delusions. Like, because I feel like when we saw her before, or maybe because we were also seeing her from Eris's perspective and he, like, worships her. But I don't know, before it just felt like a little bit more like, hey, let's make this happen and then celebrate. Mm-hmm. This chapter was kind of, the more it went on, the more she was like, take that, Quentin. Like, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, girl, literally nothing has happened yet. You're not even close to your location. And then even after getting to your location, you still have a few things to get done.
Did you expect that it was going to fail, or did you think they would succeed?
I actually don't remember.
Oh, that's okay.
It'll probably be in my notes.
After this moment, things happen real quick. Like, Garen backs up and everybody's like, oh shit. Like, they start like surrendering basically. Except Eris, Oakheart, and, you know, Hota's telling them to yield and all of that. And everybody's like, yeah, we should do that. And then Eris is like, no. And then you will not take her whilst I still draw breath. And then he charges.
Oh my god.
Arya Hota. And his prediction, if you remember, like, being in his head, mm-hmm. and him being like, one day I'm gonna kill this motherfucker. And, like, it happened, you know?
Yeah. Insane, bro.
And, like, she's thinking to herself, like, I should say something and I should stop him, but she's frozen and she can't. And by the time she gets out her no, it's way too late.
Yeah.
And So his like horse gets taken down, but he still emerges, and no, some girl was shouting, some foolish little girl. No, please, this was not supposed to happen. So that's her. In case that wasn't clear, Martin puts in like she could hear Marcella shrieking too, so that we're clear that she's not the little girl. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Hota's long axe took his right arm off at the shoulder, spun away, spraying blood, and came flashing back again in a terrible two-handed slash that removed the head.
That's terrifying.
And she basically just collapses at this point, and she's shaking and sobbing and vomiting and just overwhelmed.
Ariane did not remember climbing from her horse. Perhaps she'd fallen. She did not remember that either. Yet she found herself on her hands and feet in the sand, shaking and sobbing and retching up her supper. No, was all that she could think. No one was to be hurt. It was all planned. I was so careful. That was so sad.
All the best laid plans
often go awry. So sad, bro. I felt really bad for her.
She heard Arya Hota roar, "After him! He must not escape! After him!" Marcella was on the ground, wailing, shrieking, her pale face in her hands, blood streaming through her fingers.
Happen.
Of course it happened.
I think I was just... Yeah, I didn't remember that. It has been 4 days, okay?
Yeah. But they're going after Darkstar. He's run off. Not really clear exactly what happened, what's going on with Marcella, like...
Yeah, I mean, he was literally the one who suggested, like, well, why don't we just kill her, and then we can just... So...
Yeah, he did suggest that.
Maybe he's just doing his plan. And then, like... I feel like he'll come back and then be like, hey, Ariane, look, I did the thing, and... look, like, this is gonna work. Like, I feel like this is just his way of trying to make his plan happen, and then... Because even
she didn't want that. Yeah.
She didn't want that, but he just did it anyway. And, like, even a few times in this chapter, like, I was gonna point out, there were at least, like, 2 or 3 moments where, like, he was like, well, let's do it this way. And then she would be like, outwardly, she'd be like, no, we're not gonna do that. But then she'd listen to him anyway. And it was, like, little things. And I feel like that was also kind of to be, like, that's kind of how it'll go down. Like, she'll have to, like, she was so, like, I don't want my father to get hurt. I don't want Marcella to get hurt. I'm not a kid murderer. But it might be that choice of, like, am I gonna get to become, like, the princess or whatever? Or do I get to have my morals and, like, the way that I want to do the thing? You know? Right. So it might just be a choice that she has to make. Which... is not a fun one.
It's kind of taken out of her hands at this point because she's taken into custody.
Yeah.
And she's like, how could he know? I was so careful. How could he know?
Oh.
Someone told, Hota shrugged. Someone always tells.
My God.
Wouldn't it be fucked up if Darkstar was the one who told and then also, like...
I did think about that. I was like, bro. But
honestly, I hate him so much. Like, I've only known him this one chapter, but still, like, yeah.
I thought about that, but I don't think it would have been him, because I think he's more, like, in your face about it.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have gone behind her back and done that. I think, like, he's not, like, a coward in that way. Like, I feel like if he wanted to, he would have just been like, girl... like, let's tell your dad, or, like, you know, whatever.
Right.
Like, I think he is that confrontational, I'm just gonna do the thing I want to do. Like, he wouldn't feel the need to silently go tell him. And also, I think he thinks he has more to gain from Ariane's stuff than Doran's stuff.
Right. So, predictions. Is Marcella gonna be okay?
I don't know.
Well, obviously you don't know, but what do you think?
You haven't said that in a while. I think that she'll be okay. Like, I think she'll maybe be, like, badly injured. Because we don't know yet if the wailing is just... I mean, she was shrieking, right? And then now it's wailing.
And there was blood.
Yes, and there was blood. But, like, we don't know if the wailing is because this is, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 level pain and, like, she's about to die, or if the shrieking is just, like, everything else going on and she got hurt. Like, we have no idea how bad it is, or, like, what exactly happened, and, like, we don't know, like, if this was Ariane, I'd be like, bro, she's poisoned, like, she's dead, like, you know? But with Darkstar, we know he's more of a knight, so I don't think he would have, like, I don't think his sword was poisoned or anything.
Okay.
So I don't think she's gonna die immediately.
She's gonna die, but she's gonna be injured.
She's gonna be badly injured, and then they can also use that to be like, oh, she's not a fit ruler. She's a woman, and an injured one at that. You know, like...
Right. And, I mean...
And a child.
What are they gonna tell Cersei, though? Like, on Doran's side, who wants to keep it all together, you know?
Yeah. He's definitely gonna have to be like, sorry, I promise I'm putting them all in jail.
Also, we're, like, overlooking the fact they literally killed a Kingsguard.
Oh, yeah, they did like, do that. But we're gonna be like, well, your Kingsguard was trying to fucking... Well, but that they can be like, he was literally... putting her in an unsafe place, like he wasn't doing his job.
Sure. But it's gonna... What I'm saying is there's a lot of explaining they'll have to do.
Of course, yeah. Doran's little lie low until things calm down isn't gonna work. Because now, like, at this point, they were kind of, like, even, air quotes, like, because they were gonna send them the head, but Oberyn got killed, and, like, from Cersei's side, they were even. Like, Cersei had no reason to go after them, because Doran was... actually, like, he was just fine with the head, and as long as the Sand Snake's plan didn't go through, like, Cersei didn't have anything to retaliate about. But now, like you said, there's that component.
Things to consider.
Yeah.
Okay, Ariane, what's gonna happen with her?
I think, like, imprisonment, same thing.
Okay.
As, like, the Sand Snakes.
And who do you think told?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know enough about these people. I was thinking maybe Garen, because of like being like a green blood orphan, like maybe like he's like, oh, like I can use this to like leverage Doran to like what we want. But then also Garen is literally like her like BFF. So I don't think so. Like that was kind of a weak thought that I had. But I think I have a weird out there thought, but it kind of makes sense to me. Maybe Marcella, because if she was figuring out things as they were going on, and she is smart for her age,
or maybe one of the guards they left behind, you know.
Yeah, like
but what Marcella or the guards didn't know was where they were going.
Right, and Hota was able to get exactly to the spot. That's true. I
so it has to be somebody who was in on the plan.
I just don't know. Like,
yeah, no, that's fair.
Because I just don't know these people at all, and like, yeah.
Okay, well, we shall keep that in the back of our mind for next time. Let's move on to Arya. Okay, so Arya's living at the house at Black and White, serving. Is it Black and White? Right?
Yeah.
That's this one.
Yeah.
House of the Undying's the other one.
I always think of that one too.
But so she's like serving there, helping out wherever she can, but she still says her prayer every night, and no whisper is too faint to be heard in the House of Black and White. And the kindly man totally asks her, like, what's that? And she's like, oh, it's nothing, no one, whatever. But he's like, you're lying. I can tell. It's super easy to tell. Yeah, all
Literally.
men lie when they're afraid. Some tell many lies, some but few. Some have only one great lie they tell so often that they almost come to believe it. Ugh, okay, I felt like called out.
Yeah, real. But to be fair, Arya is also a 10-year-old, so this big, like, boisterous speech he's giving is like, dude, she's 10, of course you can tell that she's lying. Like, that
right,
too.
But she has gotten away with a lot of lies in the past, though. Like, that's
true,
literally how she's alive.
That's true. But I guess, like, he doesn't know that, though, right? Like, so from his side, it's just kind of like... I think
he does know. He kind of...
Oh, because he can, like, read into her...
Well, she went through all her, like, identities. when she first got there.
Oh, right. She like, yeah. That makes, right, I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, like he may not know exactly, but I think
But he
he's got a
knows
pretty
that
good
like
idea.
she's able, yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So she's like, okay, it's these people that I want to die, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, is that why you're here? And she's like, maybe. And he's like, well, then you're in the wrong place. It's not for you to say who shall live and who shall die. The gift belongs to him of many faces. We are but his servants, sworn to do his will.
That's so weird, because then also you can be bought to kill someone. So the person who was paying you was speaking through the will of God. Like what is
also,
this?
Arya told Jaqen all those names. Like, is she God now? Like,
exactly that too. Where it's like, or is it like she? But then it's interesting because the reason she got to do that is because she saved Jaqen, aka. Like, we think, like, one of God's disciples, like, priests, basically, right?
Well, him plus, like, the other two.
Yeah, so she
Biter
saved
and...
those people. But isn't their whole thing literally, like, death at the right time is important? So who was she to say that at that moment they shouldn't have died? So is Arya God? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think, like, his thing was, like, oh, by saving us... there's now a debt owed to the god, like 3 lives are owed. So because you're the one who saved us, you get to decide who those are. Like, it's like really convoluted, and I'm not gonna lie, I agree with you.
Okay,
I don't understand this philosophy.
Like in like a roundabout way, sure, but it's just not like it's a very hypocritical philosophy and religion,
but
I
it
will say.
also is very religious-esque. Just saying.
That's true, but I guess, like, yeah, like, it's definitely, like, some real religions where it's, or, like, the way some people practice some of the, and obviously it makes sense that, like, with this religion, some people are going to practice it in less of a hypocritical way, and some people are going to practice it in more of a hypocritical way. So maybe, like, and, like, we also don't know how Jaqen thought of it. Like, maybe there's different, like, schools of thought.
Yeah, also, I don't think George R.R. Martin had quite figured out the faceless men yet, because Jaqen actually references the Red God.
Oh.
But also, the Red God, I think, is one of the many faces, so I guess you could just, like, I don't know, you know?
So maybe Jaqen is... Maybe they all have their preference. And Jaqen's like, well, he has many faces, but my favorite face is like...
right.
Like, maybe that's a thing. We just don't know yet. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's like talking about her life there and all the people around. There's this like other girl who she calls the waif. Mm-hmm. There's 3 acolytes, 2 serving men, and a cook called Uma. Mm-hmm. Basically, all the people that live in this place, and the kindly man is the only one who speaks the common tongue, so he's the one she can like really only communicate with. Like with Uma like points at an onion and she knows to cut it, you know, so like it works out. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting, but she's like the perfect age to pick up a language, so I'm glad that she's so young in that case, because I feel like she's gonna be quick to pick up on it eventually, especially now at the end of the chapter when she's like literally being pushed out into the world, you know? Yeah. She's talking about one of the acolytes. The youngest one is blind, but he's in charge of the candles, and he uses like the scent and the warmth from the candles to know which ones need to be lit. So like that's interesting.
Yeah.
And also it mentions that Arya knows a few words of Braavosi, only the ones that are the same in High Valyrian. Does she know High Valyrian? Did we know she knows High Valyrian?
That confused me. I was like, I didn't know she was multilingual. I thought she just knew like the common tongue.
I mean, she is like, you know, highborn and whatever, and they do pursue, you know, languages and stuff for fun. But like, I don't think I knew this about Arya.
Yeah.
And I don't know if this has like ever come into play. Because also, Valar Morghulis, Valerian. Valar Dohaeris, Valerian.
So why wouldn't she have known that if she knew
what that
Valerian?
is? Yeah. Or did she know, and that's why it was so perfect for the end of her prayer? But it never was indicated that she knew.
Yeah.
Right?
You bring up a real... Yeah, I don't know.
So what are you doing here, George? Let us in on it, you know?
Yes.
If somebody knows if someone knows an explanation for this, please share it. Please do.
Yeah.
But there's like 3 levels to this. There's like the main level of the temple. Then there's like a sub-level where the acolytes and the kindly man, they sleep.
Yeah.
And then there's a level below where the servants, including Arya, sleeps. And then there's like a 3rd sub-level. That's the sanctum that she's not allowed into. So
Ooh.
that's like immediately when you know there's like this closed door, you want to know what's behind it, you know?
Exactly.
Any ideas for what's behind this closed door?
I don't know, bro. Maybe like money, like the death machine, where they like...
I mean, they have vaults in like the 2nd and 3rd levels that she's walking through, and they're like full of weapons and like costumes and like all sorts of shit. And she is like, maybe one day I'll come across one that's full of money and I can take it and leave. Or
stop. Yeah. Maybe like, I don't know, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but maybe they have like a whole system for the dead bodies. Because we don't know yet.
I mean, that is where they take the dead bodies. So.
Yeah, so, no, but I mean, like, maybe, like, something, like, really sinister, or, like, I don't know, like, they, like, feed on them or something, or, like...
Okay.
Just something, like, not necessarily that, I don't think they do that, but, like, I don't know, like, maybe they have, like, different stations with all the different faces of God, and then they're like, this body is for this god, this body's for this god.
But
like,
they have the altars in the temple, like, that exists there.
I don't know. Like, what would... I don't know. And if
all the gods are the same, why does it matter which god the body goes to?
That I don't know. Okay, maybe it's like...
Basically what I'm saying is you're wrong, so tell me something different.
Okay, maybe they...
Oh, it's so good. Like, you couldn't really imagine it.
Okay.
Unless you've gotten, like, some kind of a spoiler, but, like, I can't wait for you to find out.
Maybe, like, the dead bodies are, like... Because I'm trying to think, like, what they would do with the dead bodies. Like, maybe... I don't know. All I know for a fact, I think, is that I think, like, when they take the dead bodies there, they're doing something with the bodies that's, like, it's, like, a ritual, or, like, it's powering something in some way. I don't know yet if it's mechanical or spiritual, but it's, like, there's something going on.
Okay. No, I will take that.
I don't know yet.
So, sometimes they take a worshiper down to the sanctum, but that doesn't happen often. And obviously all the dead bodies go down to the sanctum, but Arya doesn't get to go there. Mm-hmm. And, yeah. What else?
Or wait, maybe, oh my god, it's like, wait, no, I completely changed my prediction. I had a prediction, but I forgot about it until I found it in my book.
Sure.
Okay.
Tell me.
It's basically a gigantic walk-in closet like celebrities and boutiques have, but, like, magical.
Okay, in what way?
That I don't know. But, like, okay, you take the dead bodies, right, of everyone who's dying there, and then you use their body, and you do some sort of ritual. Like, for example, I'm there, and I died, and my body is taken down to the Holy Sanctum. Mm-hmm. And I have super long black hair, and, like, long black eyelashes, and, like, a pudgy nose. Okay, those are, like, I'm just describing to people how I look, okay? And, like, so now you can use that, like, you can, like, take my features and, like, I don't know how, but somehow they can, like, take their feature, like, my dead body's there now, and now you can take, like, using my, like, life force, you can take my features, and, like, now the person down there who's a priest can take my hair.
Okay, now I'm not well versed in this, so I'm gonna say things and I know I'm gonna be wrong.
Okay.
But, okay, what are these games that kids play these days? Fortnite's a game, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But they've got skins, like they can...
Oh, yeah, it's basically that. Yeah.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm imagining.
I was trying to give words to your
Thank you.
thing.
Thank you.
But then I chose the thing that I know nothing about to use.
I'm dead. It's
analogy.
Basically like when you think of like, you know, like runway models and like runway agencies. Imagine the
Right.
walk-in closets that they have of, like, all of their discarded product and all of their, like, they just have everything in there. Like, any shoe you could ever think of is there.
But it's like human bodies.
Yes, but it's like human features. It's like, because my physical body...
Oh, you can like mix and match. Like, I could take your hair, but then have like somebody else's nose because I don't like your nose.
Exactly.
Stop joking.
Exactly. You can do that. Like, you can go in and like, but like,
you can like custom build.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
is getting so
and the
creepy.
reason you can do that is because my body's there, and like, it's the holy sanctum,
It's
and there's
part of
spiritual magic going on. There's
Okay.
like some, it's like we're going back to Miri Mazdur like type stuff going on, you know? And,
okay, I like that. There's like one word that I'm specifically trying to avoid saying, but
ooh.
I'm gonna say it later, like in some years, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Ooh, okay. That makes me think I'm right, because you're using my predictions and you have a word to do it.
Sure.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna note this down.
Like, you're missing like a big main component, and like if I say this one word, you know, it'll put you on the right track, so I can't do that.
Oh, but I'm on the right track is what I'm hearing.
It'll put you on the right track.
All right. Okay, I'll think about this more and get back to you.
Sure. No, but I like that. All right. So it's a closet where you can go and get a whole new skin. Okay. So next, she's just talking about her chores and all the things she's learning and all that stuff. Oh, supper's her favorite time because it's like the first time in so long that she can have a full belly before she goes to bed. Oh, so sad.
Oh my god, that's so sad. She's like, wow, it's so fun to be well fed. I'm like, oh, girly, please.
Yeah, and she's like, Hot Pie would have liked it here because the kitchen's like so bustling and Uma is like the good cook and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked her remembering Hot Pie.
Yeah. Sorry, not to keep coming back to this, but the only other thing is I'm reading a bit and it says that, like, from time to time a worshipper would ask to see a priest and the kindly man or the waif would take him down into the sanctum.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also, so a worshipper can ask to see a priest. A worshipper can... Are these special worshippers who are also associated with the church? Like, specifically, like, faceless men? Or, like, could I, as a worshipper, come and they would take me to the costume shop? Like, you know?
We only know that it happens rarely.
Yeah,
we don't know anything else.
So I guess it's like, for example, if Jaken came back here and was like, hey, I'm low on costumes, you take them down, like... That's kind of what I'm imagining, but anyway, yeah, just wanted to point that out. Okay,
yeah, it's a possibility. So they're talking about, like, all the people that come to, like, die here, and the kindly man is, like, explaining the whole thing to her, and it's like, well, they don't get afraid because the candles soothe them, and what do you think of when you smell those candles? And she smells snow and smoke and pine needles. Stables, Hodor laughing, John and Rob battling in the yard, and Sansa singing about some stupid lady fair. She smells the crypts, the hot bread baking. She smells the god's wood, her wolf, the wolf's fur. So basically, she smells Winterfell. But she's like, I don't smell anything, obviously.
That's so... Bro, okay, there was a couple other moments before this where, like... Oh, yeah, okay. When the chapter began, there was a moment where, like, when she was describing, like, all the people that were there, like, the waif and the acolytes and when she's describing all the people, she's like, oh yeah, like, the oldest acolyte couldn't have been much older than Sansa, who had been her sister. And I was like, why are we talking about her in past tense? And it was really sad. And it's just like every moment when she tries to be like, forget about it. It's just really sad. And I'm like, no. But like, it's weird because she says, well, not weird, but it's good. It's good because she says that, but then immediately in the next paragraph is like, in her heart of hearts, she was Arya of Winterfell. And it's like, yeah, she's, like, trying to suppress it all to, like, be okay and, like, deal with it. But, like, also, she hasn't yet, so it's good.
Yeah, and it makes sense that the first thing that she would try to suppress was Sansa because they didn't get along, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But the kindly man's basically like, okay, well, you can keep your secrets and you can leave anytime you want. Like, you're not bound here.
Yeah.
She's like, well, if I leave, you told me I can't come back. And he's like, yeah, that's right.
Damn, bro.
And he's like, okay, fine, you can stay, but you must obey. It rhymes. And she's like, I will. She, like, gets more tasks and does as she's told. And one of her jobs is walking around with the kindly man first thing in the morning to see find everybody who's died overnight. Like,
oh my god.
Man, what a morbid job. But yeah, so that's a thing. So that they get taken down. They're like stripped of all their things and washed, and then their bodies are taken down to the sanctum where Arya's not allowed to go. And she's got like, she gets paranoid one night that what they're doing is butchering them for meat. And she like stares at her supper weirdly, and the kindly man's like, calm down, it's pork, like don't worry. Like he can tell exactly what's going on in her head. I wonder if this is like, he can tell not just because he's like all-knowing or whatever, but because he had the same thoughts when he first came, like, you know?
That's funny. He's like, yeah, people who start here always have a point where they get worried about this.
So she like goes back to her room every night, and she's got like her few things, like the gifts that people on the shift gave her, like her dagger and needle, obviously, and like her clothes and stuff. And she practices with needle whenever she can. And one night, the waif sees her practicing, and the next day, the kindly man's like, so, what's all this stuff you got? And she's like, it's nothing, I'm no one. And he's like, you're not no one, and it's not nothing. That stuff belongs to Arya. And if you want to be no one, and if you want to be here, you got to get rid of it. And she's like, okay, fine. Oh yeah, he's like, well, if you want to leave, like, we can find you a place. Like, maybe you want to work for some merchant, or you can be a courtesan, or we can, like, if you want to get married, we can find you some guy to marry. Like, just say the word and we can make it happen. But she's like, no, I don't want none of that. So,
which is kind of sad.
Yeah, he even asks her if she wants to go back to Westeros, and she's like, no, I just came from there. Like, I'll leave if you want me to, but I won't go back there, which is, oh my god.
Yeah, it's so sad, because it's like, they're kind of offering her anything, and she's like, yeah, I'll do this thing that involves not being myself. Like, it's a little like, oh my god.
Yeah, but like, getting married, being a courtesan or a servant in a merchant's house is also not her. So, you know,
that's true. Yeah.
To be fair, like, this is closer to her, as disturbing and like concerning as that is like, murder child is who she is, unfortunately, now.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's true. But I guess it's just like, it's like they're offering her like, because those aren't the only options, right? And it's like, they're offering her,
it's just examples. Yeah.
And like, they're offering her like easier options that would make her life easier, but it's like, she just can't, because she's not really like, she's not a person with hobbies or interests anymore. She's just kind of like going through the motions, and it's like, she's like, well, what would I even do? Which is sad.
But all these other things are also not going to offer her what she really wants, which is revenge. So
but like, that's like sad, because like, all she has now is the revenge.
It's so sad. It is the saddest. That's the point.
Like, it's like, all she's got is the revenge, so she can't even consider options when they're being handed to her on a silver platter. Like, before it was like, she had to just go, like, passage to Braavos was the only thing she could do.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if he said, like, you can be a water dancer.
Aw, if she would say yes.
Yeah.
Aw, but maybe she's too traumatized. She'd be like, but Syrio died.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that would be really cute if that was one of the examples he used.
Yeah.
That would also be more heartbreaking.
It might have given her more pause than others, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Oh.
So she's like, okay, I'm staying here. And he's like, okay, you can, and many have served him of many faces through the centuries, but only a few of his servants have been women.
Mm-hmm.
Because women bring life into the world, and we bring the gift of death. No one can do both. Interesting. Interesting that women are being reduced only to their reproducing capacities, obviously, but also can't do both.
So I just can't have kids. And not can't have kids, but it's like, well, I guess it makes sense because he basically is like
magically you can't have kids, or because you're no one. Like, how's no one gonna have kids? Like,
I guess it's probably both because I feel like,
or that you like take a vow of chastity kind of deal,
I
which
feel
is
like it's
very popular in this world.
Yeah, and breaking it is also very popular in this world. But I feel like it's probably all of them because it's like once you commit to the role, they're like. Because he literally is like, you can't be anyone, you can't do anything, you can't anything, like, at all. So that makes sense. But I also think it's like, once you get to that point of, like, becoming an acolyte and then making your way to becoming a priest or whatever, like, I feel like there is some magic that goes on, right? Especially if, like, with all the faceless man stuff of, like, if you can, like, change your appearance and do all of those things, clearly there's something there, like you're being changed in some way to be able to change yourself at will, right?
Right.
So why wouldn't you also just be able to be like, okay, now you can't have kids? Like, that makes sense. That if you have the power to make your body body and voice and everything do whatever you need it to, then clearly that magic is also gonna work for, like the equivalent of like...
it's like the permanent birth control.
Exactly. Like,
he's like, okay, so you want to do this, but those who enter his service must give up all that makes them who they are. Can you do it? And she's like, yeah, I can. I can give up anything I want. And he's like, well, start with these. Mm-hmm. So after supper, she goes to bed and goes to her bedroom, and she like gathers all her... She tries to sleep, but then she can't. So she gathers all her stuff and sneaks outside by the river, right? Or whatever it is. Like, there's water. Mm-hmm. She's reflecting on everything. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no place for Arya of House Dark. Arya's place was Winterfell, and Winterfell was gone. They've killed my pack. I have no one. Like, all the trauma, Mm-hmm. And eventually she gets to the water's edge, and she like takes out her treasures one by one, and she's got like the gifts, like the fork and whatever. She tosses it, and she's like, this isn't mine anyway. They gave it to Salty. And then she throws her hat, her gloves, her money, her boots. She takes off her clothes, like even her underwear, everything. She throws everything except Needle. And she's standing there, just shivering in the cold. Mm-hmm. And, it's like bringing back all the memories. And
she keeps trying to be like, it's just a sword. It's just a sword. And then she says it to really try and convince herself, but it's like, it wasn't
just a sword. Needle was Robb and Bran and Rickon, her mother and her father, even Sansa. Needle was Winterfell's grey walls and the laughter of its people. Needle was the summer snows, old Nan's stories, the heart tree with its red leaves and scary face, the warm, earthy smell of the glass gardens, the sound of the north wind rattling the shutters of her room. Needle was Jon Snow's smile. And she remembers him calling her little sister, and she starts crying, and she's like, they took this away from me once. I'm not letting that happen again. Yeah. And she walks back up the steps.
And she kind of affirms, like, the old gods. She's like, it wasn't the god of many faces. Like, this is a Winterfell old gods thing.
It was the old gods that brought it back to me. They wanted me to have it. So the many-faced god can have the rest, but he can't have this. So she walks back up the stairs, and halfway up, she, like, feels one of the rocks moving, so she like digs around it, and eventually she finds this nook in the mortar. I don't know. And now finally there's a crack and enough space for Needle to be put there. So she leaves Needle there. No one will know where you are but me.
Oh, that was such a nice... That was nice.
So this is like the reassurance that we need that no, she's not gonna be no one. Like, as long as she's got Needle in these steps, like, no matter how much of a no one she becomes, part of her real self is there and she can return to it. Like, it's the bit of hope we need. Like,
exactly. Before she becomes the murder child.
Get Needle and, like, go do her thing, you know?
Exactly. Just when the time is right and, like, things are okay, like, you know, she's gotten all the death out of her system, she can come back. Hopefully it's before that, but this is the best I could have expected from 10-year-old her. And honestly, I did not see this coming, and I'm happy. Because my worry through all of these things has just always been, because she never gives us that, she always just gives us, like, the sad side of it, where she's like, well, what's the freaking point? But I guess it's like, it really is that reminder of, like, just because she doesn't say it doesn't mean she doesn't feel that way, you know? And the fact that she's lasted this long and this many disheartening and, like, tragic things happening is, like, clearly there's still hope inside of there somewhere, even if she doesn't go around being an optimist about it, you know? It's like hanging on for dear life is still, like, an optimist thing to do, you know?
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Go off, Arya. Yeah, but there was a sad moment, though, like, where she was thinking about Winterfell, and she was like, she's thinking about the Ned quote of, like, when the snows fall and the winds blow, like, the pack survives, and she's like, but I don't got a fucking pack. My pack is dead, and when I tried to make a new one, they killed them all. And I was like, okay, you have a point, but don't think about it that way. Like... You just gotta think about Needle.
Like, her whole journey has been, like, literally the pack has died, but the lone wolf has survived, so...
Yeah, complete opposite of Ned.
Yeah, but, I don't know. Like, the hope, obviously, is she'll be reunited with Nymeria, and Nymeria's got a pack which will help build her own pack, and eventually she will be a wolf with a pack.
Yes! Exactly.
Anyway, okay. I'm gonna get teary-eyed. Okay, so, Arya... the next day, she doesn't tell anybody that she did it, but they know. Duh. Okay? But they don't know that she still has Needle. So, like, they know a lot, but they don't know all. Yeah. So the kindly man's like, okay, I got a story for you. And she's like, what's the story? And he's like, well, it's the tale of our beginnings. Everybody who wants to be a part of our guild got to, know where we started. And... long story as short as possible. Okay. Back in Valyria, a lot of people were enslaved and forced to work in mines under the volcanoes, basically, and were tormented horribly. And they were just not living a good life. So this guy, the first faceless man, decided, you know what? I'm going to relieve them of this life. And I'm going to give them the gift of death. So he killed the slaves. And Arya's like, what the fuck did he do that for? He should have killed the slavers. And the guy's like, oh, he did that too. But that's a tale for another day. Which... spurs a bunch of theories about how the faceless men caused the doom of Valyria, by the way. Yeah, we don't have, like, enough information to, like, for me to get into any specific theories, but I thought I would mention that for you, you know?
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah, but then how do they feel about the Targaryens, though, you know?
Right.
Like, makes you think.
Huh.
But basically, that's, like, how that began.
Yeah.
So... yeah, he's like, okay, now you know the tale, and who are you? And she's like, no one. Well, that's a lie. Well, one day you can learn to lie better. So before you can do that, you're going to learn first, okay, you can learn to lie, but you also need to learn the language. And the waif, the person you call the waif, can teach you that. And apparently, so to Arya, the waif is like a little girl. But apparently she's like 36 years old. And the reason she looks like a little girl is because she's just ingested too many poisons.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But basically, once she's like, okay, I've given up my stuff, I know the tale, she becomes a novice in the House of Black and White, and she gets, like, new robes and, like, the uniform and everything. And she and the waif go around, like, naming objects so that they can learn each other's language. They start playing this lying game where they tell each other lies or the truth, and then the person has to guess whether it's a lie or a truth. And the waif almost always gets it right, and Arya's just guessing because she has, like, literally no basis for telling. Yeah, this is when, like, the waif is like, I'm 36, and she's like, you're lying, but really, she's not. Okay, let's see. A bunch of other people go, like, she notices other members of the guild, I feel like, coming in and out. Yeah, so she's, like, given the task of serving them in their meetings or whatever, but she can't understand them because she doesn't know Barbosi yet. So, like, we the readers and Arya get nothing from those meetings. Even, like, she's told to be like, pretend you can't hear, but she's gonna hear, and we're gonna hear through her. So, like, hopefully she picks up on this quickly, you know?
Yes.
I want to know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, these are the other guys. They're like, oh yeah, well, yeah, there are other priests, but also she's like, yeah, are these their real faces? And he's like, what do you think? She's like, well, obviously not. And she asks if Jaqen Hagar is a priest, and this guy's like, well, I don't know anybody by that name. So he could be one of the people.
Yeah.
He could be the kindly man for all we know. But,
yeah, that's true.
Or the waif, like, doesn't
matter.
What should be Uma? Like,
oh my god. Maybe Jaqen is the god.
Yeah, the only thing that deters me slightly from him being one of these people is that he was recently seen in Old Town by us, so, like...
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. And I feel like he'd be like, hey, Arya.
Well, yeah, or maybe he won't.
I feel like he would,
maybe he would.
I think he would.
Like, I gave you the coin and you took me up on my offer. Like, yeah. Something. Yeah, she's like, he knew how to change faces. Can you show me how to do that? And he's like, yeah, totally. Here, let me make a silly face. Your face is changed. And he's like, yeah, well, sorcery comes at a cost. Takes years of prayer and sacrifice and study to do a proper glamour. And she's like, years?
It's like when you're 10 and you're like, like you don't understand the concept of time a little bit, and it's like, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's like, well, you don't need spells, you can use Mummer's tricks. And she's like, well, I don't know any. So he's like, practice working your face. It's like that time when I taught myself how to raise one of my eyebrows, like by just like practicing in front of the mirror. But I got like good at doing that, but I never took the time to practice doing the other one, so I could only raise one eyebrow, the right one, but not the left one. But basically, she's sitting in front of a mirror, like practicing making faces.
Yeah.
And he tells her that a smile should be a servant and come only when you call it. Learn to rule your face, which is, ooh.
Damn, okay.
Telling a kid not to feel her emotions, okay. So she's practicing that stuff, and she's helping prepare the corpses. And she's just like doing a lot of work, but she's like, none of this is as hard as I have worked before, so it's no big deal. And she remembers this tale that old Nan tells about how in the long winter years, old men would announce that they were going hunting, but everybody knew that they were just leaving so that they weren't taking up resources, so that they could go die out in the wilderness.
Oh my god.
And she wonders what the people think about all the ones that come to the temple. Like, what do their families think?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting. Like, I never really... We never hear about anybody coming with, like, their loved family member, friend, or something. Yeah, right? Like, to sit with them as they die. It's always, like, people on their own.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Which kind of also, like... Yeah, it's nice that, like, people can come here and just, like, relax and, like, die, but it's also, like, that's so sad. Like, that, like, I feel like the fact that people aren't coming with them, that it tends to be people who are, like, having a tougher time or, like, have lost their support system, which is, like, really sad. Like, it would be nice if at least some of these people were, like,
I imagine there must be. Like, not everybody who comes to worship dies. So maybe it's just not mentioned. Like, it's just, like, an oversight on the author's part. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Also, I was thinking, Kate, you know how the waif, like, looks really young because of the poisons or whatever? But, like, so is she, like, is she ingesting these poisons? Like, and why?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I don't know.
I guess my question is, like...
She's the one who dumps the poisons into the pool, right?
So, how is she... Yeah, like...
Maybe she's the one who prepares them, and she's got to taste it to make sure that it's the right potency or something, you know?
That's right, yeah. Because I guess my thing is just, like, is that intentional, or is that, like, as a result of doing this job?
I think it's probably, like, a side effect.
Okay.
But it's, like, a side effect that she's accepted.
Right, yeah. Okay, interesting.
Anyway, so one day the kindly man calls her and is like, so, you know a few words, but your accent is a horror, so it's time you leave us for a while, and the only way you will truly master our tongue is if you speak it every day from dawn to dusk. So she is being sent out to work for this guy, a fishmonger named Brusco, and she's gonna sell his cockles, clams, and mussels. And for this job, she's going to take on a new persona, and she's going to be like come back to the name first. We'll talk about the backstory. So her backstory is that she's an orphan from King's Landing. Her father was an oar master on a galley who took her to sea with her, but he died. So then the captain just dumped her in Bravos, and now she's here. And the ship that she came on, she says, will be named Nymeria, because obviously. And her name, she asks if she can be Cat, which I think is it's got to be a nod to her mother, right?
Yeah. No, it's actually about the cat she used to chase in King's Landing.
I mean, she's like, that could be. But it just made me sad, really but happy, but sad, but happy.
But also, these things could be good because it could be a potential clue to someone like Brienne or someone else.
Oh, yeah.
Or like to Sansa, like,
I didn't even think about that.
Cat and Nymeria. Nice try, Arya. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Especially if they have the hint that she might be alive, but she could be anywhere.
Yeah. That night, she leaves the House of Black and White, and she's like, I smell freedom! And then she's like just super happy to be out and about. And as she crosses a bridge, she says her prayer, letting us know that she is Arya.
Yeah.
So,
Icon.
The end. How do you think her adventures as Cat are gonna be?
I feel like they're gonna be fun. Maybe she'll meet, like, I don't know. Oh my god, couldn't she meet, like, Sam? And, like...
I mean, they were headed for Bravos.
Yeah.
If they ever make it past those storms and shit.
Real. She could meet, like, our... What's the homie? Like, Danny's people when they come. She could, like, if they
Danny's people. Like, eventually. Danny's people when they come. Like, Danny was like, I'm gonna set up in Marine and we'll here for a while.
Yeah, but eventually she's gonna come to Winteros. Westeros. Westeros. That's, like, the whole object of her plotline. Like,
yeah. Okay.
Or, like, Jorah, if he's making his way back. Or, like, you know, she could hear about the goings-ons in the world, because now she's at a major trading center, so... Yeah, definitely. It'll be fun. Yeah, if, like, Tyrion or Varys has somehow made it there, like...
Do you think she'll pick up the language?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm excited for her. I don't really have any particular predictions, like, we've kind of talked about. Yeah, how long do you think she's gonna be out here on these streets doing this?
Maybe, like, a year.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's, like, a book.
Okay, like, 6 months. She's a quick learner.
Well, that's like the second book.
Okay, whatever. That's okay.
So, next chapters, we're gonna do 2 next time. Do you have any hopes or predictions?
I would like to see Danny, and I would like to see Sam.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, neither of those. Sorry.
Lovely.
So, we're reading chapters 23 and 24. Chapter 23 is Elaine.
Sansa? Wait. Sorry. Elaine was a made-up name, right? Like, there's not an actual Elaine this could be?
It was based on Littlefinger's mother's name.
Okay, his mother's dead, right?
Or grandmother, like one of those.
They're dead, right?
Yeah.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
Is it stupid?
It is.
Or is it an indication of her personified, like, taking on this new...
Yeah, but that's why I don't like it. That's why it's stupid. Okay, whatever. Alright. Okay, but Queenmaker was Queenmaker, but she failed. So... maybe Elaine is Elaine, but she's bad at it.
Fair enough, honestly. Fair enough. Also, I want to point out, okay, what's Arya's name gonna be from now on?
Cat.
And then you add Sansa's name from now on.
Elaine.
And add them together, you get...
Elaine Cat. A Cat Lane. A Catalane?
Catelyn! Like their mother! Oh. Elaine Cat. What?
I thought you were referencing, like, I don't know, like a cat, like, you know, like a not a rural cat, but like
an urban cat.
Yeah, like a non-domestic cat, like a lane cat, alley cat. That's the word I was trying to think of. Alley cat. That's why I was like a lane cat, like an alley cat.
But Catelyn.
Okay, wait, cat. Elaine.
Like together they make up their mother's name, you know?
Oh, yes, okay. You just can't enunciate the vowels too much.
Yeah, but whatever. It's not like a real thing. Maybe it is, but like I just like it.
That's cool. Nice.
All right, so what are we gonna see from Elaine?
Elaine is with where is she again? Oh, is she still there? Yeah, okay, yeah. I was like, she wasn't moving, right? Because the rest of the... Bro, I swear to God, 70% of these books are just spent moving. Like, yeah, you know, we'll see if Littlefinger's plan worked of promoting that guy.
Yeah, and also, like, last we heard about the Eyrie was that Littlefinger was being besieged, basically, by the lords, and Cersei was like, yeah, they can do that, but just don't kill him.
Right, yeah. So we'll see how that goes.
And who is gonna come out on top of that? Like, that's nothing?
Okay, Littlefinger.
Alright, okay. I will take that.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 24 is our dear, dear, dear Cersei.
Oh, is it just called Cersei?
Yeah, it is. It's not called Dear, Dear, Dear Cersei. Even though you sometimes, like, reading her chapters, you're like, oh, dear, dear, dear.
You're like, bless her soul, basically, the whole time. Or no, bless her heart, more like. But, what is Cersei? Well, maybe she finds out about the Marcella stuff. We'll probably get, like, another council meeting, or, like, I honestly, it's been so long, I don't remember what she's up to. Oh yeah, she burned the Tower of the Hand. Yeah, maybe she'll just be making decisions. Oh, she's like hanging out with that lady, girly.
Oh, Taina Merryweather.
Yeah, her.
Cool. Well, I look forward to all of it. So, we have a couple emails. Let's read a couple emails because it's been like a month.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the first email is from Pauline.
Ooh.
Dear Nav and Harmouth, guess what? I made it to the Red Wedding episode, and quite honestly, it broke my heart.
Aww.
In a good way.
Oh, no.
However, a heart can be broken in a good way. Anyway, too many ways in this email already. Anyway, Harmouth's unfiltered reaction really got to me, so much so that I had to stop what I was doing and simply listen to her, which is very unlike me since I always need something to do while listening to podcasts. I love that she's so invested in this series and that she cried about 2, at that time presumably 3, fictional characters dying, and I am very glad of it. I mean, not glad, but glad. Literally nobody is going to understand this email. Oh, we understand you completely.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, not that I don't think it's that unusual for people to cry and have emotional breakdowns over the Red Wedding, but after Harmut's very dry reaction to Bran and Rickon's fake deaths, I had my doubts.
Stop. Well, that's because, they're, like I said at the time, they're children. We weren't really invested in them. I honestly remember during the Bran and Rickon fake death chapter being like, well, if this was Catelyn dying, I would have reacted. Or, saying a Stark's name, and then... Yeah, so, that's the thing. They were children, and, I'm not really invested in them, honestly, so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
So, if anybody's gonna die from now on in the series, they better be children, right?
I mean, sure, yeah, I'm not really invested in them.
I mean, don't take this the wrong way. The Red Wedding is another level entirely, and I'm not a diehard fan of Bran and Rickon, but to not care at all, that's rough.
Hey, it's not that I didn't care, I just didn't care enough to, dwell on it. I just kind of was like, that's sad. Moving on.
Sure. So, I enjoyed the episode very much, and I'm very excited to listen to Harmut's reaction when she finds out that Arya is alive. I imagine her to be either very happy or very angry because everyone made her believe that Arya is dead. Possibly both. I think you were maybe... Well, I don't remember you really being angry. I think you were just mostly happy, right?
Yeah, I think I was annoyed that I was like, how dare you let me, Yes,
you were annoyed at us, but you were happy at the
book.
Outcome.
I was happy at the plot line, and I was like,
Yeah.
George R. R. Martin, you sneaky, sneaky bitch, But, I was just mad more at Nav than the story.
Okay, well, I am very sorry that I still have not caught up yet. Oh, sorry. I said
you
that in a sarcastic way because I was saying it like
exactly.
me. Let me read it in a genuine way. I'm very sorry that I still have not caught up yet, but I hope it's okay if I keep you updated and share my thoughts, even if it was a year ago for you guys. Please do.
Please, no. I love
revisiting.
Yes.
And tell us very specific things we said that were stupid.
Exactly.
Because I forget everything and I need to be humbled sometimes. But let's be honest, even if it's not okay, I will keep sending emails because I won't know if it's not okay with you since I'm not caught up. That's so funny.
Wait, that's beautiful.
Did that sentence make sense?
Yes,
Did that
it did.
email make sense? Probably no on both accounts. Keep up the good work. Yours sincerely, Pauline.
Oh my god. I loved that. Thank you, Pauline.
Yeah.
And keep us updated with every single one of your thoughts.
Please do. I forgot to mention it's titled Red Wedding Thoughts. I should have mentioned that. But
so nice. That was so nice. I love that.
And it made
Thank
perfect
you.
sense.
Yeah.
You write how I talk because I use the anyway a lot. So it makes sense to me. All right. So the next emails, it's Juan from New York who sent us this email, and it's titled The Podcast. Love you guys, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this podcast. I started binging the podcast while I do all my drives from work and everywhere I go. I love the Song of Ice and Fire series, and I am a full-on nerd about the book since watching the show. A Feast for Crows is my favorite book due to all the Greyjoy POVs. Can't wait to catch up to where y'all are at in the podcast. I decided to reread A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. My name is Juan and I'm from New York. I read the series in 2014 to 2015 and still waiting for the 6th book. It has been years for me. Oh,
that's so
my
sad.
My heart breaks for you and for me and for everybody.
That's really sad. Oh my god.
Keep going, guys. You got this. Okay. P.S. Nuv, I want to hear your opinion about Sansa and if she was skin changing while dreaming about Marillion in the Sky Cell. And here's a quote from that chapter. When she closed her eyes, she could see him in his cell, huddled in a corner away from the cold black sky, crouched beneath his fur with his wood harp cradled against his chest. Okay, we should both share our opinions. I'll go first. I don't think so, because I think it's very significant that Sansa lost her wolf and hence lost these skin-changing powers that are significant for the Starks. Mm-hmm. So this to me is like, this is how she's picturing him in his cell, not how he really is. And it's not like she's a bird outside that can look in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it just makes sense if Sansa doesn't have that power. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same way. Everything you said makes sense to me, but I also think, like, just with the way it's described, it's definitely more of like her imagining it. It's not like, I feel like if she was actually there in that way, there would be like different types of details.
Also, George R. R. Martin's not subtle with his skin changing. Like, he'll be like, oh, it smelled like man rock. Like, he'll be using like really, really weird terminology.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Remember, like, when Bran's in summer, it's always like, man this, man that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But, yeah. No, but that was a good question. That's a good observation. I wish she could have kept her power because, I mean, then all the Stark siblings could have, like, communicated in the, whatever, netherworld, dream world.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But thank you for your email. That was delightful. I'm glad you're like listening to us on your commutes and everything.
Yeah.
That's like my main time for podcasts as well. And I love it. I love laughing like an idiot in the middle of traffic because particularly like on a bus. If I'm on a bus.
God. So people are just like, what is happening?
I'm just like, you know what? I'm having fun that you are not. You're just jealous.
That's a good compliment that you listened to us during that time, though. Thanks, homie.
Yeah. It's lovely. Send more emails.
Yeah.
We love hearing from people.
Yeah.
And I love doing this. And being away for a month, like, made me realize how much I missed it and how much I actually love doing it. So, like, it's a good reminder because when we're, like, super busy, occasionally it can start to feel like a chore because we're like, okay, we got to find the time and then we got to sit here for like hours and then we got to edit the thing and then, just like, but when I step away from it, distance makes the heart grow fonder, whatever, all those things.
Yeah.
So we're close again, right in your ears. Can you hear?
Leave it right there. We end the episode as you say that.
There's just like a shrieking sound, of our like heads being cut off or something.
Oh my god!
Because it is spooky month. Ooh. Oh yeah, happy spooky month. Also, I think it's called Spooktober. Why did I? Whoa, spooky month. Who am I? But I just remembered on the 8th of October. There will be an episode of Game of Thrones that I'm on. We'll be talking about season 1, episode 8. So if you know what that is, so you want to listen. We actually haven't recorded it yet, but I can still guarantee that it will be good because I'm going to bring all my nerd knowledge. So
wait, season 1, episode 2?
Episode 8.
Season 1, episode 8
of House of the Dragon. Okay.
I was like, I swear to God, like,
did I not say House of the Dragon?
No, you said tune in for season 1, episode 8. If you know, you know. And I was like, am I not supposed to know what you're covering? Like,
of House of the Dragon. I'm talking about specifically the episode and what's in the episode.
Got you.
I should reiterate that.
Okay.
So, on October 8th, tune into Game of Thrones, the podcast, to listen to me, Emily, and Kate talk about House of the Dragon, season 1, episode 8. And if you know what that episode is, you know it's going to be great. So, there you go.
Nice.
You can keep both of those plugs in because I feel like there's a chaotic personality out there like me that's going to remember the chaos better than the coherently put statement,
Right.
Well coherently put. Wow. Okay.
You can't script these moments. You know what I've been thinking about in the month that we've been away? I've been thinking about AI content a lot more because I think it's becoming much more prevalent. And also, like
The amount of times Kelly Clarkson had tried to sell me things with her like deep fakes, you know?
But yeah, so sorry, you distracted me and now I'm all confused. Okay, so basically I've been thinking about that a lot more because recently I've started noticing it enter like my For You page or like my YouTube page stuff, because usually like I'm aware that AI exists and I know that people make those videos and like do those things and like bots exist, but like I'm not always seeing it all the time. But recently I've just been, and also I just feel like news and everyone's just been talking about it a lot more too, and I've noticed it more in the stuff that I watch. Like sometimes I'll swipe up on a short and I'm like, I swear to God, this was made by AI. So I've been thinking about it a lot more, and I've been thinking about like, oh my God, like human creativity and like that sort of thing. And like, bro, the thing you just said, AI cannot.
It could never happen.
AI cannot.
Because AI would be too perfect.
AI cannot make this shit up. You know what I mean? Like, well put, well coherently put. Come on, you guys. So if you guys ever had any doubt that we ever use AI for anything, no, we don't. No, that's not me defending us. That's me making a joke. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're so far from the AI perfection that we can't possibly be using it, is what I'm saying.
Shots fired. Either at AI or us or both.
Honestly, both, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. And, do all the things. Follow us on Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium. Join the Discord. Send emails. Our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. And, somebody said to me that they left a review, but I don't know how to check those. So, if you leave a review, send us a screenshot and we'll read it on the air.
Where did they leave it?
iTunes, but okay, see, I went on the thing, but it's by country, so we can see Canadian reviews. We can't see any other country reviews.
You're joking.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, if you do that, send a screenshot, because I don't know how to do the thing. I'm too old for this. In my ripe old age of my early 20s.
Oh my God.
Hey, you're in your early 20s. Okay, sorry. What are we talking about?
We're hanging up the phone now. That's what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, do the thing.
Yes, do everything. And you guys are so cool, and we're so happy to be back.
Yeah. So until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.